everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a bookish scavenger hunt to find my next read. So if you haven't seen, which I'm sure you have, Kayla from BooksandLala has this little scavenger hunt she does almost every single year, where it's just a list of questions that takes you on a scavenger hunt through your shelves, and eventually you find the next book to read. While this book may not be my next book, I'm trying to film this in advance because I'm actually going back to school soon. So I do plan on reading this book sometime throughout this month, but it may not actually be my next read. But I want to be able to do the scavenger hunt with all my books, not just the cart that I'm bringing with me. I would really like if the book that we ended up with was on the cart, but it may not be. So I'm going to try and keep most of the scavenger hunt to this side and the cart, because the other side of my bookshelves, which you may have seen my bookshelf tour or my bookshelf reorganization, that whole side right now has a whole bunch of boxes and stuff on it of stuff that I've ordered for my apartment when I move back to school. So we may venture over there a little bit, but for the most part I'm going to try and stay on this side because it's just easier to not have to mess with all that. Hopefully this way you can see more of my books. I have the scavenger hunt right here. So the first thing is grab your favorite book, go to the acknowledgements, and the first name you see, find a book by that author with the same name. So as Kayla, I think, said in her most recent edition of this video, which was a couple months ago, most of us have more than one favorite book. It'll be very, very difficult for me to choose my favorite book ever. Like, I literally can't. So I'm going to choose my favorite book of the year so far. And my favorite book so far this year is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby by Sean Andre. I love this book so much. It's so good. If you can handle the triggers and the content, I highly recommend. And so what is it? I have to go to the... I'll go to the acknowledgements, and the first name I see, find a book by the author with the same name. So let's go to the acknowledgements. Okay, the first name I see is Josh. I genuinely do not think I have any book by an author with the name Josh. I'm gonna check because I have this app called Book Buddy, and in Book Buddy I did pay for like the premium where you can have unlimited amount of books, but I basically scan in the barcodes of every single book I own, so it's just right there. I actually do. I forgot about Josh Mallerman. So we're gonna go visit Josh. I know that y'all can't really see, but I have a Josh Mallerman right here, and I also have a Josh Mallerman down here. So we have to look at the cover, I believe, and find another book with that thing in the title. So Bird Box, it has some blood, it has, I think this is a phone, blood phone, and then Unbury Carol, let's see, has trees, it has a bug, a woman. So we could choose woman, tree, bug, blood, or phone. I know for a fact I definitely have at least one book with something in it. So let's see. I think because Unbury Carol has a lot of trees, I think I'm going to go with that. And we actually don't have to move because right down here we have The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by Eric LaRocca. This is one of my favorite short story collections ever. And so the next thing is to go to page 50, line 5, pick a word with that line, and find a title with the word. I literally keep sneezing and I'm going to have to edit it out, but I think it's from the dust. Okay. So, page 50 actually is blank, literally. So I think I'm going to go to page 49 because that's the closest one with text on it. The next one that has text on it is page 43. So I'm going to go to page 49. What is it? I keep forgetting and my phone keeps shutting off. Okay. We're going to go to page 50, line 5, pick a word with that line and find a title with that word. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lifting my body slowly rising into the air. Okay, let's see what I have. So I have multiple books with the word rising, but we are going to go to my historical fiction section. Okay, so as you can see down here, we're in the historical fiction, and I have Malibu Rising. Next up is to find a 5-star that has the same colors as this cover, and I don't think I'm going to find anything. I don't know, but I'm going to say blue, pink, and yellow, but maybe it just needs to have 2, like blue and pink, yellow and pink, or blue and yellow. So we'll see. So I think the closest that we're going to get is actually my young adult contemporary section, and I think that is Black Girl Unlimited. While it just looks like it has blue on the cover, she actually has a lot of highlights of pink on her face, and that's always something I really liked about this cover, so I think this one's going to be the closest that we can get. The next thing that we have to do is find a book that has the same number of pages as this one. And so this one, so I'm going to include the acknowledgements because I think on Goodreads they include the acknowledgements. So this book has 294 pages. turns out I don't have any book with 294 pages, but on Goodreads and in my Book Buddy app, Black Girl Unlimited actually has 304 pages, and I have a lot of books with 304 pages, so I'm gonna go with that. I literally just need to decide what I'm gonna do. Maybe we should move to like a different section instead of staying in this section. Should I go with the book that I have read or that I haven't read? I'm unsure. So coming over to one of my horror shelves, I actually have 2 books on here that have 304 pages, so I'm gonna start with Sundial, and if I can't find one that fits the prompt, then I will, you know, try to move on to another one. The next thing is to flip open to any page. The first name you see, find a book by an author who shares that name. Okay, so I'm gonna open it. Falcon. I don't know. There's no author I have with the name Falcon. The next up I see is Mia. So I'm gonna try Mia. Moving down to my book cart, I actually have 3 Mias and 2 of them are on here. But I'm gonna go with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is a little stuffed because what I was going to say about my book cart when I showed it to y'all is that I've actually put all the books on here that I'm going to be bringing to school for the most part, and most of these, like up through here for the most part, are all on my TBR for this month, and then here and then in the back of all the shelves and in the front of the 2 other shelves are all books that I just want to read. So I have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Next up is to find a book with the same number of letters in the title. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 letters. So let's look. That's going to be too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be too many, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh! Miracle Creek, actually. Ugh, I can never get the hardcovers out of here. Miracle Creek also has 12 letters. So this is a legal thriller that I really want to read. Has 12 letters. And so now we have to find a book with a similar cover. I don't think we're going to find one on here. Actually, I think Hidden Pictures will be kind of similar enough because I'm trying to stay to this, because the only other cover I can think of that's similar to this one for sure is All the Sinners Bleed, which I've already used because it has like the trees looking up. It doesn't have the moon, but it kind of has like the same vibe. But I'm going to go with Hidden Pictures by Jason Ruckaluk. I know that they're not the same, but they both have like the tree night vibes. So I think that counts. I'm not going to lie. So Hidden Pictures is up next. And then now we have to flip to a random page, point to a word, and find the word in a book title on my TBR shelf. Okay, so hopefully it's going to be something on this shelf. Oh, I didn't know this has pictures in it. Really cool. Review. None of them are going to have review, I promise. So I'm going to flip to a different page. Y'all can't even see. I'm flipping, trying to get to a non-picture page. Stallion? Not gonna have that either. Okay. Half. I don't think I have any books in general with the word half. Okay, let me just try again. I'm trying to look at the page to make sure it's not a picture page. I feel like that was ingenuine, so let me, okay. That pointed to nothing. Okay. Horoscope, not gonna be the title. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This is hard because none of these words are in any title. Okay, we're gonna keep flipping. That was a picture page. Something. I don't think I'm gonna have something. Nope, no something. Okay. The is the easiest one. I have so many that have the in it. Okay. Let's see what we have going on. So on this cart alone, I'm so glad we finally ended up with the, because the is easy. Sorry the lighting is also kind of whack. There's the light right above me, that's why. So I have the Pallbearers Club. I have the arrangement. I have the plot. I have the Good Sister. And I don't know if I have any more in the back. Let me look. Yeah, I have more books in the back of this. This is what I always do when I go to school because I want to try and bring as many books as possible. I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I'm sorry, but that book is just too big for me to read right now. I have The Sundown Motel. I think those are all my options, but I think the one that I'm going to go with is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. I recently just picked this one up when I went to Texas to visit Haley because she really likes this one, and I think this is the one I'm going to go with. yeah, I think that's a solid decision. Actually, sorry, Haley, I take it back. I forgot that I had The Nanny. I'm reading The Nanny. I'm really excited about this one. It is about a woman who is a nanny, and she owns an OnlyFans account, and the dad actually turns out to be her biggest customer, one might say. So I'm really excited to read this one. I literally had the arc of it and I still didn't read it. I'm really excited for this one. You could see it was on the top shelf. Okay, so we went from All the Sinners Bleed to Unburied Carol to The Trees Grew Because I Bled There to Malibu Rising to Black Girl Unlimited to Archer's Voice to Miracle Creek to Hidden Pictures, and then finally ended up with The Nanny. Really excited to read this one, and I'm going to be vlogging it in this video for y'all. So I am back because, as I said in the earlier clip when I was actually doing the scavenger hunt, that I was going to read The Nanny later on because I wanted to do the scavenger hunt when I had all my books with me, but once I got to school, I wouldn't have as many books, but I didn't have enough time to actually read the book before I left. So I'm in a different environment. You've probably seen my room before, but I know that this is supposed to be like a reading vlog portion where I end up like, you know, reading the book that I said, but I just literally finished the book in one day. The Nanny I did read in one singular day, and I would have updated y'all, but I was actually dyeing my hair. I don't know if y'all can tell, my hair is freshly dyed. I like to leave out some of my brown always just because I really like it when my baby hairs and my edges are brown, so I personally just like leave out a little bit. But if you look at my Kindle Unlimited book recommendations video, you can see it a lot more in that video because I feel like the curls disguise when I have my roots growing out, but you could see in that my slick back all the way like to the actual bun was brown. So my hair is re-dyed. And so I didn't want to come to y'all looking a hot mess with like bleach on my head, dye on my head, like wet hair. Like I was just looking at a hot mess that day, and it ended up taking me like 8 hours, which is only why I only re-dye my hair like 2-3 times a year. But it was time. So I did that, and during that day I just like was like, okay, like I need to start another book, a little audiobook. So I started The Nanny and I finished it. So I ended up giving this one around 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed this one a lot. We follow our main character Cassie, and she is kind of like really in the need for some work. She used to run an OnlyFans account, but she actually shut it down because she started having a really close relationship with the highest paid like fan that she had. He would pay for a lot of like one-on-one sessions, and they started developing kind of like a relationship, and they were going to meet up one day, but he just kind of like ghosted her. So that like really hurt her, and so she decided to shut down her account, and she just kind of like lost her job recently. So she's looking for work, and she comes across this nanny position, and she actually has worked with children before, and she's in school, so her schedule is not like 100% free. She needs kind of a job that's a little bit more flexible, and so she, as I said, finds this nanny position for this man named Aiden. He's a chef, and he has a daughter who I would say, I don't know if it says in the synopsis, but she's around probably like 8 or 9. So he has this daughter named Sophie, and she is very like tenacious, doesn't really like people, and she ends up getting hired by Aiden to actually be the nanny, of course, and she really starts developing a relationship with Sophie as well as Aiden, and kind of finds out about what occurred with Sophie's mother, and that she has actually passed away, and that was really traumatic for Sophie. But the mother of his kid and Aiden were actually not together, so that didn't really cause as much for him, that didn't really cause as much like inner turmoil for him, but obviously he really cares about Sophie, and I think that's kind of like part of why she's so distrusting, is because her mother's not around. So Aiden and Sophie also kind of have some, not issues, but their relationship is slightly rocky because he wasn't always in her life until her mother died. He was in her life, but not like as much as he should have been or would have liked, especially with his job being a chef. He is like an executive chef. He's really like top up there, so his job is very demanding. It requires a lot of his time, which is why he needs a nanny. And so eventually Cassie ends up deducing that Aiden is actually the man who was her highest paid fan on OnlyFans, that they were supposed to meet up in person, but she kind of holds this back from him for a while because of course we need some sort of conflict in the book. And that's basically the premise of the book, and as I said, I gave it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the plot. I loved the premise. I really enjoyed Cassie and Aiden as characters, and I love their dynamic. I love like when a child is in a romance. I really enjoyed seeing Cassie get to know Sophie and Sophie warming up to her. I thought thought that was really excellently done. I really enjoyed a lot of it, but this book was definitely too long. It dragged for a lot of the story, and I feel like a lot of the conflict wasn't my favorite. It's really not my cup of tea when in books there's kind of like miscommunication, or somebody finds something out and doesn't tell the other person. And normally, of course, that happens in relationships sometimes, where somebody knows something and they don't tell the other one. But this one, it kind of went on for too long for me. And Aiden was honestly like a very understanding character. He never really got mad at anything, and so I really enjoyed that. And Cassie was very much like a self-sabotager. I feel like all the conflict just came from her self-sabotaging herself and her relationship, which I feel like is very realistic. I'm also a self-sabotager personally, but I don't really like to like read about that. Like, I want the conflict to be very much like external, like things that they can't control. I really just don't like reading in books a self-sabotaging character, or characters that have miscommunication, because while it is realistic, and I feel like that's something that does happen a lot in real life, it's just not like what I personally like to read. Maybe it is because it's too close to real life, and I feel like generally, even in real life, when people self-sabotage, when miscommunication happens, when people are withholding stuff, it's kind of dumb. Like, if my friend does that, I'm like, stop being dumb. Like, of course we all have our reasons and personal things of why we do the things that we do, and obviously there's generally, not obviously, but sometimes there is a pretty good explanation of why people do these things. But I feel like Cassie didn't really have like a reason for why she was doing this. It wasn't like past trauma or anything like that. She just did what she did because she thought that's what she like wanted to do, and it was just kind of like a little dumb to me. So I really did enjoy the book. It was really just like the conflict of it all and the length of it that wasn't my favorite, and it made me take off a 1.5 stars. But I really still would recommend this romance, and it is one that I really enjoyed, but I don't think it's one that's going to be like in my memory forever. It's not permanently in there. And I do have actually some like pretty light-hearted contemporary romances that like do really stick with me, that I think about frequently. One that I really love that's also a single parent trope is The Takeover by T.L. Swan. I really love that one. I gave that one 5 stars. It was one of my favorites of the year. Just the way that one was handled made a lot more sense to me, and I feel like the conflict had a lot more care than in this one. I still really enjoyed it. I don't know if I will pick up something else from this author. I know she has another book coming out later this year, but I just really enjoyed this premise because I love single parent romances. So I don't know if I'd pick up another book from her unless I really loved the premise like this one, because if the premise is not something that I'm super interested in, I wouldn't really see me loving the book. Because part of the reason I loved this book so much is because that it is single parent, this OnlyFans aspect, and so if it was just kind of like more like a basic premise with the same issues that I had, I just don't think I would love it. But as I said, I would recommend this one if you enjoyed the premise for sure. But it is a little bit long for what the story is. I think it's over 400 pages. So yeah, it's over 400 pages, which is a little lengthy for a romance, especially one that's not like a dark romance or one that's like super emotional and heart-wrenching. It is a little bit long. I feel like contemporary romances that are more lighthearted should be like 350 pages max, more around like 200 to 300. So that's just my personal opinion. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you to my patron Mars for suggesting for me to do this video. I had such a great time doing it, and I feel like the scavenger hunt is something that I will definitely be doing again in the future. And if you made it to the end, leave the little like baby bottle emoji, because this was about a nanny, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody. Trying to look like you're winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking the moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life that I hurt you.